don't need Terry Hadwood in the building today because taking over the event in its entirety today is the director of Kamloops-Afro Films and also a creative consultant coach. Please give a huge round of applause for Daniel Akinshola.
Thanks, Erin. You made it sound like the president is coming. Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Like I always say, you could be anywhere today. You could be relaxing, watching a program at home, watching series, binge watching series. I started one, Adolescents. It's beautiful. I recommend we see it if you haven't seen it. But thanks for coming. My name is Daniel. It's my second time here. I really don't like standing in front of people to talk, but, but I have to. I find myself doing that a lot, so I'll just have to get used to it. With your smiles, with your beautiful faces, it makes it very easy to do that. So thanks for coming. So today we're going to look at a topic, what you don't know about your story. When this topic came, I was struggling. I said, nah, it makes no sense. Who doesn't know their story? Nah, you know. But it never left. So I said, okay, why not? So I started researching a few things. And we'll go through the slides, maybe 20 minutes. In between, we might do a little bit of interaction, like a little bit of workshop for story. Don't be shy. If you're shy, just cover your eyes. And then I'll show, sorry about that. That must have been my tummy. So at the end, I'll show this little reveal. It's a class project. I won't reveal too much, suspense. Keep it suspenseful. So I'll reveal that at the end. And yeah, we'll just talk and we'll just find out what we don't know about our story. But to start, it's always good to know who's in the room. Like I was talking to Lydia, if we wait till the end, most people just get to talk to one or two people before they go. So it's good to get a sense of who's in the house. Everybody listens to everybody. It's a bit daunting, but yeah, it's good to get the voice out. Yeah. So generally, it's just your name, what role you play in the creative industry, and what you want to get from tonight. Basically, just those three. So we'll go round. Or should I start first? Why me? Okay. Yeah, my name is Daniel. I love telling stories. I love making films, short films, feature documentary. I just love getting stories out there because I believe stories are very important for people to shape their thoughts, shape their ideas, and how to engage with other people. So tonight I want to get the meaning of this myself, because hopefully we'll be able to unravel it together. What's I don't know about my story as well. So yeah, so we can go round and then just feel free, express yourself. Let's get to know you. Great, thank you. With the experience in the room, you guys should be up here talking. I should be listening. Thank you for coming. Okay, let's hope it's going to be a fun night. The last time I brought my drum, I was like, nah, not today. I'll show something else. But nonetheless, we'll still have a great time. So respectfully, I think it's okay to start with land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the land on which we gather, live, learn, and create is a traditional and unceded territory of the Kamloops-Afro, who are part of the Secwepemc Nation within the unceded ancestral lands of the interior Salish peoples. We honor the elders, past, present, and emerging, and recognize the deep and enduring connection that the Secwepemc people have to this land, its waters, and all living things. We are committed to listening, learning, and walking in solidarity towards truth, reconciliation, and justice. As an Afro diaspora community, we also carry our own stories of displacement, resilience, and cultural survival. In acknowledging this land, we stand in shared respect for all indigenous peoples, their histories, and their rights. And we commit to fostering creative spaces that uplift all voices and promote healing, inclusion, and unity. And by this honors everybody in the room as well. I'm new to Kamloops. I came into 2023, so there's still a lot of places I've not been. I still use my GPS to go around, but it's always beautiful to see people who were born here, who grew up here, and people who moved here years ago, listen to their stories, how Kamloops used to be, learn a lot from them. I was at the exhibition, the 70 Years of Film, at the museum, and then there was a panel session with a documentary shown in Kamloops Film Society, the Paramount. And look, the Paramount was said to be the most advanced theater at the time it was built in Canada. That was 1955. I was like, really? Because when I went in, I was like, this is a bit modern, But then learning that it was about the best in Canada, I said, okay, I understand why Kamloops is so special. Because everywhere you go, Kamloops, everybody knows Kamloops. So it's a beautiful place. It's a place of history, and it's a place of greatness. It's a place that has a lot of potential. And I'm really, really grateful that I'm here to share the space and to learn humbly. So let's move on. So who is this for? Because that was the first question I had. Like, who doesn't know their story? So this is for emerging creatives, filmmakers, and writers, especially those still finding their voice and unsure how to shape their personal stories. This is for the Afro diaspora and immigrant communities, individuals whose stories have been historically overlooked, misrepresented, or silenced. It's for youth and adults in transition or reflection, young people navigating identity, belonging, and purpose. Anyone with a story, and you're unsure how to tell it. People who work with stories formally or informally. So this is basically for everybody. It's for the struggling creative. We all have moments where we get blocks and you're trying to write that story, or you just want to get that story and it's just somewhere, trying to find it, So this will be a good knowledge building, a good interactive session to go home with something, hopefully. So you are invited to rethink your story, not as a fixed script, but as a living, layered experience. Life keeps evolving. Where you were yesterday is not where you are today. Last year, 10 years ago, 5 years, and where you will be in 10 years is not where you are today. So life keeps evolving. It's like an onion peel. Someone said, you peel every layer and you cry. But it depends. Onions are really helpful too. I love onions. So you don't cry every time. It's also nourishing. So explore the untold parts, the hidden lessons, and subconscious patterns within your lived experiences. Gain clarity, gain confidence, and creative inspiration by uncovering what you didn't even realize you knew. There are times when, and this is part of the reveal I'll do later, there are times when you absolutely forgot a part of your life. And then something, oh yeah, I remember. So it's not every time that we remember everything about our life, but moments like this help us remember, that is a gem. That was there for a reason. We'll get to all that as we go on. So what you don't know about your story, your past is a blueprint. Your present is the canvas, and your future is the masterpiece. So what's the blueprint? Blueprint is like a map, kind of like the way. The canvas is where things come alive, or where, where the painter expresses this image, this thought, and things come alive on the canvas. Your future, the masterpiece. The masterpiece is not something you hide and cover up. You show it. You want to show the masterpiece. You want the world to see. You want awe. You want to display the aura. So if we look at the life that we all live, it's a way to make something come alive so it can become a masterpiece. And that is how everybody's life is. It's a way for something to come alive, for you to bring life and showcase it. So invariably, everybody's future will become a masterpiece, depending on how you view it, though. You know. So there's some myths about story. Now people say like, there's nothing special about my story. There's nothing really. It's just a story. It's just day-to-day life. I've made too many mistakes. I don't want to talk about my story. It's, you know, nobody cares about my journey, really. But the truth is, every great story includes challenges. The more struggle, the more powerful the message. I'll play a video. And there's so many tabs open. Is the audio coming out?
As you can see, I was born without fingers on my right hand, and also my right leg was several inches shorter than my left one.
Sorry.
They broke the bone.
Sorry. I have to pause this and go back to that. Okay.
As you can see, I was born without fingers on my right hand, and also my right leg was several inches shorter than my left one. They broke the bones in the leg, then they screwed metal spikes into the bone. It has not only spikes, but wires that go all the way through the leg to stabilize it. I have to walk on it. I have to stretch it out so that my muscles don't just get all atrophied. People always ask me, does it hurt? Yes, it does. But I focus on what I can do, not on what I cannot do. I want to talk with you guys about overcoming obstacles. Everybody has obstacles, a disability, a hurdle. We face a choice. Let the obstacle overcome you or overcome the obstacle. Maybe some of you have heard of Jim Abbott. He was a Major League Baseball player. He won a gold medal in the Olympics. He played for the Yankees, the Angels, but he threw a no-hitter and he only had one arm. When he was a kid, he came home mad one time and told his dad, "The kids won't let me play baseball because I only have one hand." His dad replied, "No, the kids won't let you play baseball because you stink at baseball." You can't change the fact that you only have one hand, but you can change the fact that you stink. So his dad began to practice with him, and he got good. He overcame obstacles. Teams would try to exploit his weak side. They would try to bunt to the side that he had a missing arm. But they never succeeded because he practiced and practiced fielding bunts to that side. There is no dishonor in having a disability, and I won't let anyone diss my ability, but I don't want anyone's pity either. I will not use the obstacles I face as an excuse for having a pity party. I will practice harder, play harder, and push myself harder to keep getting better. Last season, I started on my varsity high school basketball team as a freshman, and I won Rookie of the Year. I was one of the top scorers on the team, so... One of the things that I find funny is that people judge me by appearance. They say, "Oh, look at this one-handed whitey with the limp. I don't want him on my team, you know?" But what they don't know is that I don't just have a disability, I have an ability. One of my favorite moments from this last season was we played a team that we had never played before. And when the game started, you could tell that they were dissing my disability. I mean, they double-teamed our tallest player. They just were playing really soft on me. And you could tell, they thought, what can this guy with one hand do? So they left me open for a three. I made that one. They left me open for another one. I made that one. Then they started to get frustrated, so they actually fouled me. I made both free throws, and they called timeout. And as we were in the huddle, I could hear the other coach yelling at his players about me. They went from not covering me at all to double teaming me. It's all about overcoming obstacles. It's true, I have a disability, but so do you. I also have an ability, so do you. Everyone has obstacles to overcome. Some are visible like mine, some are less visible. Maybe your obstacle is that you come from a poor neighborhood. Maybe people say you'll never amount to anything. Prove them wrong. Maybe your obstacle is that you have a learning disability and people think that you're dumb. Prove them wrong. Maybe people judge you because of the color of your skin or your family background. Prove them wrong. I know a lot of people who take one look at me and judge me. They say, oh, that kid can't be any good at basketball. One leg, one hand. If someone thinks you can't overcome the obstacles, prove them wrong.
Okay. So, prove them wrong. I like that video. It's a really simple video, but the message is so profound. For me, I think it talks about focus, and I think it talks about what you put your mind on. I usually say you can't go forward looking back. There's no one. You can't keep walking looking back. You fall. You bump into stuff. So why do we keep looking back? Why not just face where we're going? So it's all about focus. It's all about choice, what you want to dwell on. Because what you think about grows, it multiplies. If you think about creating something, the energy to do it is going to come, it's going to start multiplying. If you think about not doing something, the energy is going to come, you won't do anything, you just keep laying on the couch. But it's where your mind is focused on that your direction, your direction goes in the area of your most dominant thought. So focus is really important. Do you have a disability or do you have an ability? Do you want people to look down on you? Or do you want to focus on what you want to get, your goal? There's this other video. It's called The Pencil Story. I would like to play.
The Pencil's Tale. Once upon a time, an old pencil maker took his newest pencil aside, just before he was about to pack him into a box. Imagining the little fellow as a person, he recalled a few things about the pencil. There are 5 things you need to know, he said to his pencil. Before I send you out into the world, always remember these 5 things. Never forget them. And you will become the best pencil you can be. The first thing is to remember that you will be able to do many great things, but only if you put yourself in someone else's hands. From time to time, you will experience a painful sharpening, but remember that this will make you a better pencil. Also, keep in mind that you will be able to correct any mistakes you might make along the way. And the most important part of you is what's on the inside. And remember this as well. Upon every surface that you are used, you must leave your mark. No matter what else happens, you must continue to write. It seemed the pencil listened to him and promised he would remember these 5 things so that he could live his life with heart and purpose. You see, in life, in your life, put yourself in someone else's hand. Embrace challenges for growth. Learn from mistakes. Value inner qualities. And leave a positive mark on the world. And you too can become the best pencil there is. This was The Pencil's Tale, and this is Dare to Do Motivation. Thank you so much for watching, and stay blessed.
Okay. Put yourself in someone's hands. Some people would say, I don't trust anyone. Put yourself in your story's hands, because your story is a person, is a personality as well. Your story has influence, it has magnitude. And trust yourself into the story and see what happens. Stories might begin to write themselves. I used to really, really believe that I had to be in control of, the creative process in totality, like brutally be in control, because I came from stage theater, and the discipline in the theater, it's not like film. Like you come in, you relax, you have a chat. You're there way before rehearsal, you're exercising, you're getting ready, because it's a one-take show. No, you can't get a cut, let's do it again. It doesn't happen in theater. So it's, I thought I had to have that discipline, but when I started learning that the story actually takes a form of itself, if I surrender to this story, I might learn from the story. Instead of always trying to show that I did the story, I might actually learn from this story, because the story is greater than anyone. So put yourself in someone's hands, put yourself in your story's hands. But then often, we looked at those things, those like imposter syndrome that was on the slide some time ago. What's about my story? What's special? Who wants to know my story? And sometimes we hide that story. We wear a mask. The mask is shaped by society to satisfy society. So we wear that mask and we smile like everybody. But then there's the mirror, the real story on the inside. And that mirror is a true reflection of who we are. Do we feel comfortable bringing that mirror out to show the true reflection of who we are? Or do we mask it? And this applies to the stories that we write. Are we trying to make the story look like something clean and decent and, no issues, everybody's just happy? The story should go like this. Or are we ready to get down into the characters, to begin to feel what they feel? Are we ready to submit, to say, I got to meet this character. I have to meet this character. And the story comes alive. Because as much as we want to really, really control it, it has to be this way, and that's it. Then we have blocks. Because then we can't write from anything. There's nothing to write from. We're writing from our head, and it's blocked. But if you write from the story will invite you in. And then you've become part of that world, of that story. And then you can write from the story, unending supply of creativity. You call it creativity, or they call it creativity, but really it's listening. It's the ability to listen to what the story is saying, to listen to what the story is not saying as well. So the question is, what's your mask? What's your mirror? You don't need to answer. But what's your mask and what's your mirror? What's your social face, socially acceptable face or story? And what's the truth? What's the emotion? What's what we call vulnerability, which someone has said, don't use the word vulnerability, use the word open-hearted. Are we open-hearted to show this story? Are we bold enough to show this story? Because if we're not bold enough to show that story, how do you want to write a film story? We'll treat that story the same way we treat our story. It's simple. There's this picture I have in my head. Imagine a big tower with two windows. The windows look outside onto streets. On one side of a street, you have a lot of poverty. You have a lot of, people begging, and it's just sad. On the other side of the street leads to the sea. There's a beautiful beach, and people are laying down on benches and just enjoying the sun. Now, if I want to write, or if the person in the tower wants to write a story, you can write the story only from the window through which you're looking. So you can say, oh, the world is a terrible place. There's suffering. And then somebody says, no, I saw contrary. The world is beautiful. People are relaxing and enjoying themselves. It's the window through which you look that determines how you see the world, basically. So your story is a mirror. It reflects your experiences, your struggles, your victories, your experiences. What is the definition of experience? What does experience mean? I was thinking about that. Experience. Is it the story you tell, or is it how you feel? For me, I think it's how you feel. The experience is how the event made you feel, how it left you, what it evoked inside. For me, I think that's the experience. If we cannot write about how we feel, if we cannot write about how the character feels, it's going to be a little bit difficult to write about other things about the character, because basically people want to see emotion in story. If it's just flat, oh, they went to the shop, they came back home, they cooked, they had no. But while going to the shop, you saw something that made you think. You started to feel. It's all about the feeling in the story. It's all about the feeling in your character. What is your character feeling? What is your character struggling with? What's your story struggling with? There has to be a struggle for this character, because in our lives, we face struggles. So you can see that parallel between your story and the story you want to make. It's so similar in a lot of ways. Somebody said the hero is part of you, or you are actually the hero in the story, or there's part of you in the hero. There's some kind of symbiotic relationship between you and your story. Your story is a map. It shows where you've been and gives clues about where you're going. There's a big connection between where you're coming from and where you're going. Remember, focus. What are you looking at? Are you looking at the bad things, or are you looking at the strengths for where you're going? You know, if you've been through the jungle, you've climbed rocks, you've fought lions, and then you're walking and then you see something really little on the grass. You're like, I've been through worse. I've been through a lot that I can use. I've built up skill from my experiences that I can use. The same thing in your story. What has your character built that the character can use in the future? Because we're all trying to make meaning from life. We're all trying to say, look, it's not just for nothing. Life happened for a reason. We'll get to that in the story as well. Your story is medicine. It has the power to heal and inspire others. You might say, no way, my story can't inspire and heal. But you've possibly watched a movie, heard a story, read a book that made you shed a tear, made you cry. Why? It touched you. The same way someone would listen to your story and be touched. There's something about your story that you don't know. And people will listen to it and say, thank you for sharing that story. Like, what story? Oh, when you talked about this, okay. At the time of the struggle, the struggle is always all you see. It's always magnificent. It's bigger than life. But after the struggle, you begin to see the reason why you went through the struggle, if you want to see it that way. So it's a call, it's an invitation to begin to see the hidden part of our story that we didn't even think about, the hidden strengths that we got. You know, I remember I lived in Western Australia. I lived in a place called Halls Creek, beautiful town, but very remote. I was there for 5 years. And sometimes if we had to do shopping, either you go to Kununurra, which is 3.5 hours, or you go to Broome, which is about 7 or 9 hours. And I was doing that most weekends, driving that long and coming back. And I was like, why? But then I remember that when I was growing up, I did a lot of haulage transport. As a young person, I had a truck. So I started linking that up. Did I do that to prepare me for this travel? But I thought that was all. I got to Canada. I travel every week to Vancouver. Because I have classes in Vancouver, you know, so I have to travel for class and come back. I keep traveling. I keep finding there's some connection between the past and today. Everything you've been through, everything was meant to become a masterpiece. Everything you've been through was meant to make you a masterpiece. It's a process. And that is why story is like medicine. Because when they hear your experience, you survived, then I can survive. And there's no better medicine for the heart than hope. Hope. Very important in stories. I'll try and move on so we can wrap up. The story you're not telling. What we hide or overlook in our stories, we hide trauma. We hide silence. It's sometimes shameful to talk about not the trauma, but how it made us feel. Experience, feeling, important for your story. Look at your character. Why is this character not moving? Because you've not discovered how the character feels. You have to discover how this character feels and express that in the story. Because somebody or many people are in that same boat, feeling that same thing. It's sometimes unnerving to talk about culture. You know, sometimes we want to talk about, those are things we hide. We don't want to really, culture, religion, stuff like that, quite sensitive. But those are real human elements that our story needs to feel human. Survival. What did you survive? See it as a strength. See it as a blessing. See it as a gain to talk about these stories. Event versus meaning. We've been talking about that because that's where the true story lies. The event is not all. It doesn't end there. The event is just an event. But what is the meaning of this event? Why did I go through this? And that is where the true story lies. So this was meant to be an interactive session, this part. Just for us to think about what moment changed how you saw the world. What moment changed how you saw the world? What have you survived, reclaimed, or created? If your life were a film, what's the breakthrough scene? It's an invitation to think about that. Do we want to do an interactive session? No. But what you can do is you can write it on your phone or write it in your book if you have a notepad. Note these things like what moment actually changed how I saw the world. You can write it down, you can put it in your phone, and you can read it later on. They're good. Thank you. Okay. Do you want to? Okay, but they're clues to what we don't know about our story. These are clues. It's pretty much like a story they use in training. I don't know if they say the best therapist was the best patient. If you're a therapist and you say you want to treat people, you become better after going through that thing yourself. You feel it, okay, this is what it feels like. It's like working in a senior's home. And some people are like, oh, move, let's go. But if you've been old yourself, you know what it's like. You know how the body feels once you cross a certain age. So experiences become real when we actually go through them. So think about what you've gone through. Millions of experiences that we've had. Millions of stories that we can tell. Unending stories. And if you write from the body and write from experience, write from lived experience, your story never dies. It lives on. So you can note these questions and you can work on it maybe later. You can even use it for your stories to help your characters. Okay, So how to use your story for impact? We've been through all the story, all this life experiences and all. But how do we use it for impact? So you can turn your story into a short film. You don't need to put your name. If you want, you can. True life story, inspired by true life events, depends. But you can make it into a short film, 2 pages, 3 pages. That scene is a beautiful scene to make a short film. Fantastic scene, transformational scene. And you tell it from your eye, your point of view, and your experience. We hear the heartbeat. We see the fear. We can feel it. It's tactile. You can make your story into a monologue or just a scene, just one scene out of your story. You're like, oh yeah, I have an experience I can throw in. And that becomes medicine for your story. It heals your story and propels it. You can make it into an essay or a voice recording. There's a lot you can do with these experiences. So your story and legacy, history is shaped by those who tell their stories. If you don't tell your story, you're not documenting your history. What will future generations learn from your story? They will walk the way we walk. If we don't tell them how we walked, they will struggle trying to find their way how to walk. And it's going to just start again. But if they know your story, they know that, you can do this kind of business through this kind of way, but this is the process. It needs a lot of hard work, commitment, because that's your story. It inspires them to put in the same hard work and commitment to get what they want. So your story is a touch. It's a touch for many people to see and find their path. If you don't own your story, someone else will tell it for you. And they won't tell it the way it should be told. So your story isn't just about you. It's a gift to the world. Unwrap it. Share it. Live it. Because knowledge begins with wonder. Curiosity. That's where knowledge begins. When we seek to know, seek to understand, seek to put everything together. Okay, this. Again, focusing on forward, focusing on moving forward, making progress, but putting everything together constructively to be able to get the strengths within each story to keep you going. So I'll share this last film. In Kamloops-Afro Films, we have about 40 members. So we started telling each other stories in very short videos, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes videos. But this captures stories that we may never have heard. Captures stories of refugees that came to settle in Canada. Captures stories of when people dealt with struggles and trauma and how they survived and what they learned from it. So I'd like to share one of those videos with us. Sorry, start that again. Is the audio coming out? All right, cool. So no need to.
My name is Nyamalo. I am from the land of the tall, dark, and beautiful, from South Sudan. What I absolutely love about my culture is the vibrant dance, the tradition, and just the overall culture. Despite the adversities that my community has gone through, the spirit of hope and togetherness is what drives us, and that's what I love. One of the most challenging things I've had to overcome in my life is the struggle of intergenerational trauma. And well, being born to South Sudanese refugees, I experienced and carried a lot of the intergenerational trauma of strife and displacement. That felt like anxiety, felt like always running from something. It felt like depression, and it felt like no matter what I did to feel happy and joyful, I always just felt an underlying emotion of fear and sadness. I've overcome this again through art and grounding myself in the things that I love to do. So that looks like singing, that looks like dance, that looks like community. One of the most life-altering decisions I made was to move to BC, British Columbia, and I feel that the change of environment for me was very, very pivotal and very important. And choosing community that uplifts me, that sees me for who I am, and sees my sensitivity and embraces it and loves me for that. Another thing I'd say was self-alchemy. Just playing off of what I said earlier about reflection. So a lot of sitting in isolation and just alchemizing a lot of those experiences and rewriting my story and just realizing the fact that I don't have to let other people define me. I can define myself. And that process looks like a lot of self-reflection. It looks like going to therapy. And that's why mental health is so important to me. And self-expression as well. Just finding a mode to let these things pass through, let these emotions pass through, and not letting them define me. And also owning my story and using my voice and my platform to uplift others. I really like the compassionate person I've become, sure to other people, but to myself. And not treating myself as the other, but integrating myself, every single part of myself. And I really love the woman I've become in the ways that I respond. My response is a lot different now than it was back then. Instead of responding to certain emotions or thoughts aggressively or even from a place of shame, I've learned acceptance and being compassionate and holding grace for myself and others in turn. I would like to see a world where, regardless of everyone's backgrounds, for everyone to have an opportunity to thrive. I would love to see a world where immigrants and refugees are welcomed with open arms, where mental health is prioritized, where compassion and unity and creativity are valued. My attire, yes, well, I'm a beautiful blend of my African roots along with the Canadian values I've been raised with. And so this attire just really honors my ancestors, and it really just reminds me of who I am and where I come from and also where I'm headed. The beads remind me of that little girl, that little 7-year-old girl who mom cared for her hair and her crown, and the beads are adornments and beauty. So I've been selected as a Miss Canada finalist for 2025, and competing as the first South Sudanese woman, I carry with me the hopes and dreams of my community, and I carry them forward with pride. And this crown isn't just for me, it's ours. I'm in the preparation phase. I'm doing the heavy footwork and seeking partnerships in the community and preparing myself, sharpening my abilities, my public speaking skills, my walk, my talk, and my interview skills, like much like this opportunity today. And it looks like also connecting with past beauty queens and almost like receiving their blessing and rite of passage, and also connecting with the other finalists and hearing about their stories, and um, honestly just inspiring people along the way and also being inspired. It's something I never saw coming, as I did apply as a joke. It was just something funny. But I really feel like it's an opportunity for me to personify feminine leadership. It's not just about the glitz and the glam, although that is part of it and it's fun. Um, but I do realize that when people look at me, they do see beauty, but it also allows me to hold their attention for a second longer. And that second longer is a chance for me to share my story and to share something that the whole world needs to hear, something important and something that's very profound. I would like the whole world to know that no matter where you come from, no matter what your story is, no matter your background, I'd really like for little girls like me from BIPOC communities to allow themselves to dream, and to dream freely and wildly, and to trust and know that those dreams can come true.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, played you once. Thank you. Yeah, it's all about the stories. It's all about the experiences. It's all about sharing it. It's all about being confident to share it. Yeah, it takes a lot of boldness to share a story. Some people cry when talking about their story. That's how profound it is. So our stories are really important. Now, talking about story, we got to the point where I'm going to do the big reveal. Yay! I hope you're not going to go. When I was really young, when I was like, I think I was about between 5 and 7, I always used to see this vision. I never knew what it meant. I would see like a big being, just see hands creating something like a clay mold, and then finally set it down, and then it would start walking. I kept seeing that as a really, really young kid. I never really understood. But then I forgot about it. Who cares? Kids see things. Who are you going to tell? They're probably going to put you on medication. So, like, you're seeing things? All right. Doctor! So I forgot about it. But then I went to a training, and then I said, hang on. That's true. There's so many things I forgot about when I was growing up. Okay. And then they said, oh, create something. I said, yeah, I'll create my vision, what I used to see as a child. So that is what this is. So I'll reveal. Okay. Pam, 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 pam. Okay, so I call it my creation story. Yeah, and I used to see that as a child, and I was trying to recreate that. Like, how am I gonna thank thank God for Amazon? I got the clay, got the case, got everything. Sorry? It's clay. It's clay. Yeah. The assignment was create something you've never created before, become an apprentice to something, become a student, because most times we're so much in control. Humble yourself, learn from something, because every new experience has something to teach you. So I said, okay, I'll create that vision. So I went on Amazon and started shopping for clay. What kind of clay? Oh, this clay, okay, that. Got everything together, and then, believe you me, it was so hard to start. I was so scared. I didn't just, like, where do I begin? What do I do first? I kept watching videos on YouTube, like how to make a clay sculpture, and it's still not helping me. I'm still scared. But eventually I just cut the clay case and brought it out and just started. And the moment the clay touched my hand, it was like, oh, an old friend. I'm like, so this is what they mean. From dust we came, to dust we return. Okay, hi clay. And then I started working with the clay, and this is what we have. But then I said, I want to make it really perfect. I want to make it really smooth. And I kept doing it. In the morning, there will be cracks. I said, no. Put some more clay on, and the next morning, there will be cracks. Why the cracks? And then the cracks spoke to me. He said, it is through the cracks that the light comes out. If we don't get cracked, we can't show light. We're just solid, we have to be broken by life sometimes. We have to face that experience that overwhelms us. Like, man, I don't even know what to do. And that happens in every story. The hero gets to a point of no return. They get to the climax. You have to face the villain. What are you going to do? Are you going to back down? Some heroes actually go, they die, and then they wake up suddenly like, yeah, it's not over. I'm still here, and they win. And that's how our life is sometimes. We don't give up. Even when we feel like we should, when nothing is working right, we keep going. Something just keeps moving us. So the crack is where the light comes from. So those imperfections, those flaws, those things we're so ashamed to show and we mask, that's where the light comes from. It takes a lot of boldness to write a story that will be that bold. And that's the story that will change the world. So the lights you see around reflect the grace around us. Every day we go out. We meet people, we meet inspiration, we see birds flying, we see trees, which the indigenous people call our relatives. They're older than us. We learn from them. But do we even notice? Do we notice that there's a star walking by? Do we notice the light we carry as people? The light that we need to shine to the world? Or are we always thinking, what do I have about my story? Focus is very important. Understanding the light you carry, the experiences you carried, that you went through, that is somebody's light. It will shed light on somebody's path. So I'll stop here. I don't want them to get dizzy. They keep spinning. But thank you so much for this evening. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I hope one or two things was beneficial. Yep. And I hope that we'll have that motivation to write story, write from the body, write from a lived experience. make it authentic, make it real. And then this will help us with blocks, you know, writer's blocks and creative blocks, just right from the experience, right from the body. Thank you so much. Thank you, Erin, for setting this up. Thank you.
Are you taking questions? Is there any questions for Daniel before he finishes up, before we get into our social part of the evening?
I really would be inspiring and just
Oh, thank you. Any questions? If you ask a question, you get a free drink.
I'll ask a question then. I've heard that you shouldn't tell your story if you're in the middle of it. If you're living your story at the moment, perhaps it's a good idea to wait till it finishes and you can reflect before you actually start trying to communicate. Do you have anything to speak to that?
100%. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's process is different. Some people will want to wait for it to, you know, evolve, emerge completely before they start utilizing it. That's well and good. And that's the thing with arts. They say arts is the way. It's your way, you know. Not all directors have the same style, not all producers, writers. Everybody's got a different style. But whatever works for you. If you want to wait it out, that's fine. Or if you want to write in the process, because I've heard of people who actually write in prison. They're not out of prison, they're still in prison and they're writing books, tons of books, bestsellers, because they're writing and it's emerging and people are following them. You know, it's almost like a reality show of your life. But again, it's what works for you. If you want to wait it out, good. If you want to write as you go on, good. If you want to write before you start, oh my God, just want to write before, feel free. It's the way. It's anything that works for you. Yeah. Questions? Questions or feedback? If there's anything that stood out, made a little bit of sense, anything at all. Okay. Well, thank you.
So again, on behalf of the Nicola Regional District Film Commission and the Akinshola Collective, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thank you, Daniel, for your very moving and inspiring presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.